Whiskey Wednesday Weekly. Thank you so much for joining. Ken Boone, your host. Please like, subscribe, comment. This week we have a unique guest. I haven't had anyone quite of Danny Eisele.
Yeah.
Is that right? Danny Eisele is, I guess, a pro BMX kind of freestyle jump, dirt kind of retired in a sense, but he's always a pro. And now he's a civil engineer, like, go figure, right? Yeah. The cool part about that, if you really tie it in, and I just thought about it, is he loves dirt and BMXing and civil, and you kind of play with dirt, right?
Yeah, that's my job.
That's pretty neat how you kind of like tied those two together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So welcome, Danny. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Ken.
So Danny will actually get into a little bit about his story. So that being said, we'll go ahead and start off a little bit about where Danny, I guess, kind of grew up a little bit. I mean, you're only 27,
yeah.
So he's kind of a younger guest, right? So his story is very compact as far as what this guy has already accomplished and when he accomplished it and how he accomplished it. So I always find it amazing because, at my age and with kids that are 18, it's nice to see you're not that far from my boys, 9 years?
Yeah, 9 years.
So it's nice to see that there's still younger people out there kicking ass, doing things, getting goals, not just sitting there doing a bunch of stuff on, not that video gaming is bad and all that stuff, but I'm saying there's still a lot of productive young people out there for the generations to come.
Yeah.
And you're kind of tearing it up. So just tell us a little bit about, you were born in Southern California, correct? Born on the inland side. Tell us a little bit about where that's from and where that is.
Yeah. So I was born in Ontario, and right when I was about 6 months old, my parents moved up to Hesperia, which is part of the high desert.
Okay.
My dad was into off-roading when he was, in his 20s, and kind of went from there. He started racing buggies, and
really?
Yeah, and he rides dirt bikes as well. So
now, does he know? I don't know if you saw, but I have Matt Martelli, who runs the Mint 400, owns Mad Media.
Yeah,
and so he's probably, he's a buggy guy, and all that. So that's kind of the whole. Yeah, he's the same way. I don't know your dad's age, but so and then for you guys who don't know, maybe on the East Coast or wherever, Ontario is in California. We do have, there's Ontario, Canada, but there is Ontario, California.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hesperia is just even further inland, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
So,
now it's like a desert community, or?
Yeah, full-on desert community. It's beautiful up there because it's the high desert. Further past that, we would get snow up there and lots of rain. Yeah,
nice.
It gets super cold, super hot. all the seasons, yeah.
That's nice, though. So it's still in California, though?
Yeah.
It's right before you get to Arizona or Vegas, you said?
Yeah, about 2.5 hours till you get to
so right in the middle then?
Yeah, right in the middle. So, yeah, and that's why my dad moved up there, because he wanted to be able to ride his dirt bike out of our garage and out to the desert.
So my question is not this is about your dad, but what kind of job did he have where he could live so far away?
He did maintenance on car washes all around Southern California.
Yeah, he would go and do these he's the maintenance guy for these places. Okay.
So he went different areas, so he definitely commuted, but it was all around the Inland Empire.
It didn't really matter. And then he probably had a company truck and he was going around doing his thing. Yeah, so it's like,
exactly.
There's got to be some there too, right?
Yeah.
As long as he was close to something he could do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you were obviously kind of a dirt kid then too, like riding motorcycles and all that good stuff. Okay.
Yeah, so he would, put me on his seat on his dirt bike in front of him and put one of his helmets on me and take me out there on his bike, and I fell in love with it right away.
Nice.
It's like,
now, do you have brothers and sisters?
2 sisters.
Okay. Now were they into that too, or?
A little bit after I got into it, because my dad got me a Sierra 50 when I was probably 9 years old, and I freaked out. I was like, oh my gosh, I finally have my own dirt bike. Yeah, so happy. And I started riding it every day, and then right then my sisters got real jealous. And they were
were they older or younger?
Older.
Oh, okay. So they're like, hey man, I'm older than you. I should better ride a bike. Right? Yeah, that's awesome. So you were out just cruising your CR50.
Mm-hmm.
So was there anything between then and 12? And I had a lot that happened there. Was there anything that was I guess, that we don't want to miss? Is there something that was kind of a big part of your life, or what made you who you are today that you could just pinpoint maybe?
Yeah, so I remember my parents had these family friends that lived just a few blocks over from us, and we went to one of their family parties one day, and the boys there were already into BMX, and they had like a pump track in their backyard.
Okay.
And they let me hop on one of their bikes and kind of roll around the pump track.
Sure.
And
Because you're used to motors.
Yeah, I'm used
So,
to
I
motors.
mean, knowing how to drive a bike, but you're kind of like, okay, this is kind of like different than.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And throttling, you know,
Accelerating, yeah.
pumping and, you know, hitting the corners. And I was like, man, this is kind of cool. You
Yeah,
know? And
yeah.
it's easy. Like, dirt bikes, you know, we were lucky in the desert that I could ride right out of my driveway.
Sure.
But, you know, BMX you could do pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, you can just do it in the parking lot if you want to freestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't have to really go, yeah. Now, what's a pump track? Is that where you're just kind of using your body?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah,
You don't
I thought I
pedal.
knew it, but I wasn't sure. 'Cause
Yeah.
I actually, surprisingly enough, you know, used to want to be sponsored by skating and bikes.
Oh, yeah.
I went
Okay.
more on the skateboard side eventually. When
Uh-huh.
I was into, you know, Haro, GT,
Yeah.
Redline, those were the big
Oh,
ones
gee.
back then, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was just, you know, I used to love that stuff, and I'd do all those little tricks. It was nowhere near like when I was in skateboarding,
Oh,
but it was a
okay.
thing, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, I kind of have a little bit of knowledge, and that's why I'm
Yeah.
so intrigued with your story because I've truly never met anyone personally.
Yeah.
You know, even back then, I was like, you know, kids or you know people, but they were always like on posters. You know. what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
exactly.
So for the fact that you went pro, that's super cool.
Yeah.
So go ahead with the story about the pumping and what made you just all of a sudden like love that.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I was never super into bicycles until that moment. Once I started pumping around on
Yeah.
the track,
Uh-huh.
I thought it was so much fun. And I was like, I started hitting up my sister's boyfriends, and I was like, "Can you build me a jump in my
Oh, yeah.
head?" Like, yeah. And they were like, "Yeah, you know, that'd be cool."
Awesome, yeah.
Yeah. So then, and because they were already a little bit into it, and at least one of my sister's boyfriends was, and
Right.
then. And then once he built me something, then I kind of started digging on it too. And right then because that's a little bit after that, I started going to the BMX track
Oh, okay.
to start racing. You know.
Right. That's when you started racing.
Yeah.
Not so much freestyling. It was like
Yeah.
where you dropped the gate and you guys were flying around, hit the birds.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I started doing that, and it was a blast. And I started racing, and all of a sudden they closed the track and they turned
Right.
it into no worries. They turned it into an RC car track.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like,
Oh,
man,
yeah.
like, I was having so much fun, you know, like I was just starting
Yeah,
to do
yeah.
some bigger jumps,
Right.
and then they closed it, and I was
Okay.
like, man, what am I gonna do now, you know? So then I started building more jumps in my yard. We right around that time we moved a few blocks over and went from like a quarter of an acre to 2 acres.
Okay.
And I was like, man, I got
Yeah,
lots
the
of
land,
room, you know?
exactly. Yeah, and then you probably, your dad probably had a tractor or something.
No, we never had
No, you all hand?
All hand,
Oh
yeah.
my God,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
A shovel and a rake.
Unreal. Well,
Yeah.
before we get to that, we're going to try
Okay.
our first shot.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I want to get into from there digging and then really take that 5 or 6 years before you went pro.
Yeah.
So this one actually we just got the other day. It's the new one. It's called salted caramel whiskey.
Ooh.
So you know, there's peanut butter. There's
Yeah.
all these other ones that came out, but salted caramel, oddly enough, is my favorite flavor. Like for anything.
Okay, like ice
you put,
cream.
Yeah. Well, ice cream.
Yeah.
Starbucks. You know, anything. It's like my go-to because I
Yeah.
don't do a lot of salt, but if it's just enough. So when my wife found this, I was like, "You got to get that! Are you kidding me?" So we're definitely gonna crush this. I barely tasted it. I don't know how to open these damn things. Here we go.
Yeah.
It's like the traditional cork too.
Oh.
So we're gonna try this, and you can pour it as you wish.
Okay, thank
You
you.
do not have to hold back. It's up to
Right.
you. So anyway, this knuckle buster, yeah, it was at Costco, and like I said, I always try to try new stuff on these shows. So everyone up here, other than maybe of course Jack, which is obviously found everywhere,
Yeah.
I haven't had before. So or I've only had just at home.
Cool, yeah.
So yeah, we'll try the knuckle buster, man. Try it out. Yeah,
Yes.
you can either shoot it or just sip it between the next 8 minutes.
Okay.
You don't have to take it.
Okay.
That is good though. You should really try this, honestly.
Wow.
Imagine that over a nice cube or
Oh my
something.
gosh.
It's
Yeah.
like dessert, right?
That is like
So
dessert.
sweet.
You can really taste the salted caramel.
Yeah, the flavor does pop. I mean, you don't get a lot of whiskey out of it.
No.
Like, there's no burn, there's
No.
but it's at 70 proof,
Oh, no way.
which is pretty good for flavored whiskey. You know,
Yeah.
usually, like, anything flavored, you're like in the 20, which is like 40 proof or something like the
Yeah.
shops and all those vodkas. This is pretty strong still.
That's dangerous.
So yeah, it is dangerous. Speaking of dangerous, his nickname's Danimal, so obviously he's an animal on the tracks. So let's go. Let's building and what that was. But so you're in school.
Yeah.
You obviously go to school every day, right? You weren't
Yeah.
homeschooled or anything, right?
Uh-uh.
So that being said, where, did you pretty much just give it all up and say, hey, I got school, I got bike, and that's it, like, that was my thing? And then what did you do to progress into all those years of getting better, and what does going into bicycling and practicing and becoming a pro take as a person?
Yeah.
It takes effort.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't realize how much practice and stuff goes into all that.
Yeah.
So just kind of go into all that for the 4 or 5 years, unless
Okay.
high school was a really huge thing other than bicycling,
Yeah.
or motorcycle, but BMX.
Yeah, I mean, mainly, like, once I got into high school, because I played basketball all through elementary school.
Oh.
And then through, like, 7th grade. And right around then, I was like, man, I'm tired of basketball. Like, I just want to ride my bike.
Yeah.
So I dropped basketball. And even when I got into high school, my family was like, oh, you should try out for the football team, all that. I was like,
They wanted you in the traditional sports.
Yeah, they wanted me in the traditional sports, and I was like, no, like, I just love it.
Even your dad?
Not my dad.
Oh,
but,
okay. Your dad's like dirt.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, just keep going, bro.
Yeah, my dad was stoked. He's like, buying me a new bike in the background.
Yeah.
So
Sneaking, he's supporting the habit without mom knowing too much.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, you obviously didn't do any of those things.
No.
So then you would pretty much, how many hours and what, I'm sure you had a social life.
Yeah.
But it was probably most people that were doing what you were doing, right?
Yeah, exactly. I had a lot of friends, and they all rode bikes and dirt bikes too,
Okay.
And the people that did kind of gravitated toward me. I was pretty lucky that my neighbor right across the street, we got into BMX at pretty much the same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So,
Okay.
And then around the corner as well, I had a good group, like right in my neighborhood, that we all rode BMX. And so pretty much every day after school, like, that's what we would do. We'd play video games maybe if it was like super windy, because it got very windy up there.
Yeah.
But every day we'd be out there.
Yeah, and then what kind of stuff? I mean, were you jumping? Were you doing cool stuff? Because at 27, there wasn't a lot that hadn't been quite invented yet.
Yeah.
Right? So were you doing like backflips and all the crazy stuff? Or you eventually?
Eventually, yeah. When I was in high school, a big part of my BMX career has been around digging and building. Like, that was my main focus. Really, yeah. Building jumps, yeah. So I started, I started building jumps. I got, more and more jumps, and I started having more people come over and ride. But really, I found that I just enjoyed building the jumps, like the time with the shovel,
Really? That was like a thing, even at like 14 or 15 or 16?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good. So, because that's a lot of work.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
But you probably got into the trajectory, like how smooth the launch was. Because I know, you can't build a ramp too much give.
Yeah.
And you can't build it like this.
Too
You
much,
kind of gotta have. So you were actually really trying to perfect these jumps and make it a track for your friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
for my
very cool.
friends And, and
well,
just
yourself.
an art piece. Yeah, and for myself.
Well,
I really
that's interesting.
shaping the sides and making it look like it's concrete almost.
Yeah, just artwork.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah. Totally.
And were they were you guys just crushing great jumps and stuff off those? Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, they got bigger and bigger, and guys that were really good at BMX already started seeing my yard and were like, hey, can I come ride? And I'm like, yeah, I've always looked up to you. So
sure. Yeah.
They come over, and
that was probably like you're like, wow, Bobby.
Yeah.
Who's like 3 years older and loves, he's awesome, right?
Yeah.
Riding, he's just like that makes me happy.
Yeah,
because you're like, wow, he's interested in what I'm doing.
Yeah. There was a dude named Jeremy Rommel. He was already a pro racer when I learned how to race.
Oh, okay.
And he was like, I saw him doing all the jumps on the track, and I was like, that is the coolest thing ever. Like, he's jumping
on your track.
No,
you mean that was like you could see him?
Yeah. When I was 12,
right?
I saw him, ripping, and I was like, dang, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And later, when I had my own jumps in my yard, he actually came to my yard.
How did he show up?
We met each other over
grapevine?
Instagram, and he saw my jumps, and
that's classic.
Word got around, and I was like starstruck. I kept it to myself.
That's what I'm saying. You're just chilling, like he got word, right?
Yeah, he got word.
So cool, man.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
How old were you at the time?
When he came over, I think I was 19.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was definitely okay.
Yeah.
So now, 19. I think a little bit before this, you had mentioned that's kind of when you went pro or started the circuit or started to push for it.
Yeah.
Was there someone like him that kind of got you, not because you liked him, but I mean, how did you get into that? Like, did you just go and start competing and people started sponsoring you? Like, how does that work? How does it becoming a pro BMX kind of dirt bike jumper work?
Yeah, so I had a pretty cool situation because there's this place called Woodward West. It's a big action sports camp. They have one here in California.
Okay, never heard of that. Okay.
Yeah, it's huge. They have skateboarding, BMX, all the extreme sports, and I always wanted to go there, but it's super expensive. Like man, I'll never be able to spend $1,000 to go ride my bike.
Right.
But I found the guys on Instagram that took care of the dirt jumps there. I followed them and stuff, and I was like, I'm gonna make my jumps look really good.
Okay.
And then, start commenting on these guys' things, and eventually they noticed my jumps, and I messaged them. I was like, hey, I noticed you dig at Woodward. Like, you ever need any help, let me know. And
nice.
They were like, yeah, come on out. And eventually I got a job at Woodward. They hired me on once they saw.
Now, how far was this from your house?
Oh, an hour and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
So decent little drive.
Yeah,
that's what you were doing, right?
Yeah, that's what I was doing. And once I got there, that is the ultimate.
Everything changed.
Grounds. Yeah, everything changed. They have foam pits, resis.
You were just able to work, dig, and jump.
Yeah,
and do your training.
Yeah,
okay,
me
cool.
Working was jumping,
right,
and digging.
Right.
It was cool. I was the only one on the clock while riding the dirt jumps.
Yeah, that's what's cool. So that's what I guess what I'm saying is they noticed you because you were good at building these jumps.
Yeah.
But when you got there, like, oh, this kid can ride too.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like you were trying to get there to do that, but it was there.
Yeah.
So you're like, dude, can I just jump? They're like, yeah, of course, it's your job. You can do whatever you want. Yeah. So you're like hour and a half drive, let's work 2 hours and let's jump. So you were actually getting paid to test them as well.
Yeah.
Like they didn't care.
No.
Because you're like, hey man, you're good at what you're doing.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
so talk a little bit about the effort that goes into trying to. I mean, other than jumping in the foam pits and stuff, like, does someone pick you up? I mean, is it like anything else where hey, there's a competition next month and you go? Like, where's the pro level at? What is it? Just getting a bunch of sponsors? Like, what is that process like?
So pro is when you're doing it as your, profession.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's huge clarification.
Yeah.
Because when I was in skateboarding, people would just get sponsors. They'd have sticker on the board. They get a couple shoes.
Yeah.
But they were just, competing.
Yeah.
So when you're a pro BMX or even a pro skateboarder for that matter, you're making it. It's a job.
It's a job.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you go about making money and getting, like, what is that? How's that work in BMX?
Yeah. So I did a lot with Woodward. I would build their jumps for them every year.
Okay.
Rebuild all their jumps, get it ready for camp, and these jumps are huge. Like, 15 feet tall landings,
that's unreal.
Field of them, and I had to design them, rebuild them.
But there you probably had tractors.
Sometimes.
I could imagine you build a 15-foot jump.
Yeah. I mean, those ones, I would have to get a crew of guys, and we would all work together.
Sure. Okay.
So it was still primarily shovel, but
yeah, you just build with the base, but then from that switch, you got to do all the shovel and
fine tuning,
Unreal.
So. Yeah, and I mean, that place is what really got me forward into it being a profession, because then I started building jumps for contests. I built jumps for this contest called the Mongoose Jam.
Okay.
It's pretty much like X Games.
Yeah.
And I built the jumps for them, maintained them, and when the contest was going on, I was out there fixing any, holes on the jumps, like keeping them going. And it wasn't until later I started going on some road trips to go to different contests.
Right.
But I was never the thing is, you can be pro at riding bikes and have a different style than everyone else.
Okay.
The guys that win the contests, they're doing flip, tail whips, 360, double bar spins, all the stuff you see.
Right.
Yeah, but if you go really fast and high and just get your bike sideways in the air, that looks different than all those guys that are doing.
And that's what you were kind of doing?
Yeah, that's
just
what I
you
was
were just
doing.
going monster air,
Yeah.
stupid high,
Yeah.
and just cruising, and in the air, just letting your bike kind of off to the side.
Yeah.
But being so high and so far.
Yeah.
And then just being smooth, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And then just landing it.
Yeah, exactly.
So
And now, yeah, now it catches people's eye, you know?
Yeah, because
that guy is
he's just flying.
Yeah.
Well, the other timer went off, so
Okay.
I am getting a little bit excited because I'm like, dude, that's so fun. I just want to talk about that so far. So the next one we're gonna do is Buffalo Trace. Okay.
Okay.
Now, have you ever had Buffalo Trace?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I've never heard of it.
Oh, it's definitely one of the average. I mean, it's not average. I mean, more of the everyday.
Okay.
Tell me when to stop.
Right there.
Okay. So Buffalo Trace is a pretty well-known Kentucky bourbon.
Oh, okay.
But it's more of the price point of 30 to 35. So it's kind of on the upper scale, average. But it's super smooth, super good. It's really good for old fashions.
Cool.
So, yeah,
I
try
love
it
old
out, man.
fashions. Cheers.
Now you're gonna get more of the whiskey.
Ooh. Yeah.
But that's good, right?
That's good.
Yeah,
There's definitely got the whiskey flavor.
Yeah, but there's oh god,
No,
a
that's
lot of them
smooth.
kind of have that whole thing going on.
Yeah.
So that being said, now I'm excited because you're not confusing me. I'm trying to get it straight. So you're building ramps
Yeah.
while you're also pro. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So you've got two jobs going on here.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of.
They're paying you just because you're good at building stuff.
Yeah.
And doing the jumps. But you're also competing, correct?
Yeah. Here and there, I would compete. That wasn't my main focus in riding bikes. But I started being sponsors. I got sponsored by Ethica and KMC chains and Bang shoes. I had OGO. I had a number of companies that started seeing the jumps I was building, the kids I was training, and they want their name, to be seen by those kids.
Right.
And they started giving me product to, give to the kids. If I say, help me build this jump, and I'll give you a pair of underwear,
Right,
and,
of course.
Yeah, and the kids are stoked on that.
Yeah.
And
especially no offense, but I buy Ethicas for my kids. They're not cheap, you know what I'm saying? So I'm looking dude, you gonna give me a couple pair of underwear? Hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm my kid, when they started wearing those things 3 years ago, I'm like, holy God, my life changed. I was I mean, they have I have twins, and they want 7 pair because they want a pair every day.
Yeah.
And there's no other underwear in that house,
No.
So I'm like, oh my God, dude. So I'm like, it's definitely a good sponsor to have.
Yeah, exactly. I've never bought a pair, but they're the only things
You didn't
that I
have
wear. Yeah. Yeah.
Classic.
So yeah, and I started going. I started being able to go on road trips to do these kinds of things.
Okay.
And I would go just to different trail spots.
Right.
To guys that I've seen online or famous trail spots.
Right.
And
what's a trail spot?
So like the dirt jumps that I had in my yard, the dirt jumps are really called trails.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, I'm thinking the ones that you see when people ride motocross or bike BMX in the mountains on trails. So it's actually just called that. Okay.
Trails, are dirt jumps that have berms and rollers.
Yeah, but you built them.
Yeah, they built
they're
them.
hand-built. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So, and there's famous trail spots with, really big jumps and really nicely built.
Oh, okay. They stay there.
Yeah,
and
they
they're
stay
maintained. They're well maintained. It's a famous thing. That's people are just I got it. Don't let it go. It's a thing.
Yeah, and it's usually a couple, a few local dudes that built them, and they only let certain people come. It's very exclusive, and once you have your own trail spot, you're kind of part of that community.
Nice.
And you kind of are like, hey, if you let me come to yours, I'll let you come to mine.
Sure.
And
now your trail spot in Hesperia is gone.
Now it's gone.
Because you guys moved.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We moved.
But
so.
your name is probably still always constituted with Wonderland, is that what it's called?
It's called, what was that?
Where's your camp that you were talking about?
Oh yeah, Woodward.
Woodward, sorry.
Yeah.
Wonderland. Funny thing, it sounds fun to me, Wonderland.
That sounds cool.
But that, are you still associated with them in a sense? Do you still have your name? I mean, you still help them and work with them?
I mean, I built the jumps there for 7 years.
Oh, okay.
So, and hundreds of people come there every year, and it's a world-renowned place.
Sure.
So everyone was like, those are Danimal's jumps.
Nice.
Even because there's Woodward and Colorado. There's one in Pennsylvania.
Oh, yeah, it's a big company. You
It's a
said that.
big
Yeah.
company. Yeah, there's even other countries.
But you've only done it here.
Only done it here.
Nice.
Yeah. And this Woodward had the best dirt jumps out of any of the other Woodwards.
They were ranking them. They were like, yeah.
Another
No
level.
one rated. That's awesome, man.
So it got known, you know, and
Yeah.
everyone was like, dang, Danimal needs to go to all the other Woodwards,
Sure,
you know?
sure.
So,
Like, did you ever do that?
I went for fun, but I haven't built any jumps for the other Woodwards.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Now that you're,
Yeah.
you know, in the professional career of
Yeah.
like doing dirt, you're like,
Exactly.
now I can fly around everywhere. Yeah, you got that degree, they can pay you more money too.
Exactly.
So yeah, you've been doing. That's been your thing.
That's been my life. Yeah.
That's awesome.
for
So
a long
even through
time.
all the, because you guys, we'll get to this in a second, but
Mhm.
even through your 5 years of college,
Mhm.
you were doing all this.
Yeah.
This is your job.
Yeah.
So did you go to school full time ever?
Yeah, I was going to school full time, so I would spend the whole summer at Woodward. I would leave in May, and they have a lodge there, and I lived there for about 3 months.
So it's like when you're there, when you're an employee,
Yeah.
they set you up. And where is this
Yeah.
place at?
It's in Tehachapi, which is out past. It's out near like Bakersfield,
Good lord!
past Lancaster. Yeah.
Wow, that's so it's kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, people
And
know
then
about it.
further. Yeah.
And then further. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's unreal. That's super, super cool. Okay, well, I'm glad you knocked that one back because we're gonna have another
All
one.
right, let's do it.
This one, I'm gonna switch it up a little bit only because we had a pretty powerful whiskey.
Yeah.
So this one, I'm gonna go backwards on you. Now,
Okay.
this is in a unique bottle.
Mhm.
I got it for Christmas, but the lady who got it for me
Mm-hmm.
is a friend of my wife's. And she knows that we have the show. She also knows that I'm a huge whiskey fan. And she likes what is it, whiskey sours or something like that?
Yeah, whiskey sour.
And so she makes her whiskey sour with this because it's
Oh.
actually got, it's straight raw rye whiskey,
Mhm.
raw honey, navel orange, rock candy, and bitters.
Wow.
So it's all in there.
Yeah.
But it's not a
Sounds
real
healthy.
super sweet one. It's healthy, yeah. The good news is it's only 84, so it's
Okay.
just a mark above like your average proof.
Okay.
But let me tell you something. It tastes like an old fashioned
Really?
without adding anything to it.
Oh, no
You're
way.
gonna so love it. I
I'm
was
gonna
blown-
need this.
Yeah, you're gonna love this big time.
Cheers.
Oh, smell it. Just smell it for a second first. Do you not smell
Oh
that
my
orange?
gosh, yeah. I
It's
smell
just
the
an
orange
old
peel in
fashioned.
there,
It's
yeah.
unreal.
That's crazy.
And the bitters. I mean, it's just so good.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't even touch that with just, I just put a little bit of cube
Oh,
and just let that marinate a little bit. That's so
dude,
good. Huh?
that's unreal. I need to find this.
I need to ask her where she wouldn't tell me
Yeah.
where she got it. I'm like, why? Is it like a
Ask
secret?
her.
Yeah, they don't sell it like Danimal and stuff for
Dang
sure.
it.
So now I really want to kind of take your story to
Mhm.
college, right?
Okay.
I mean, I want to kind of get into like, did you ever have really any struggles? And I'm not looking for any. I don't want it to be a struggle story if you don't have any. I mean,
Yeah.
your struggles were just, sounds like you just loved your work, and your struggles
Yeah.
were hard work.
Yeah.
Like, you don't always have to have struggles in life. You just,
Yeah.
the struggles are freaking working all the damn time.
Yeah.
Like building shit with your hands
Yeah.
and mountains of dirt. Like,
Yeah.
that's a struggle, right?
Yeah,
And then,
yeah.
oh, by the way, trying to keep up your grades, because you
Yeah.
went to community college, you said, for a
Mhm.
couple years.
Yeah.
Then you transferred to San Diego State,
Uh-huh.
which is not an easy school to get into.
Yeah.
So you went to school for 5 years, and now you're a civil engineer.
Yeah.
So you went to school for that. So
Mhm.
obviously those grades could not have been bad.
Yeah.
Like, you had to keep up this amazing life
Yeah.
of loving, jumping and building.
Yeah.
That's so hard, right? I mean, it's hard work, but like, who wouldn't want
It
to
was the
ride a
dream.
bicycle
Yeah.
and just jump shit,
Yeah.
and build the shit you jump?
Yeah, exactly.
So that was the greatest part.
Yeah.
But then you're going to school for 5 years during all this.
Yeah.
Yes, you worked at Woodward in the summer,
Mm-hmm.
but you still had to keep up your jumping and all your stuff and your
Yeah.
love.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that whole 5 years of college and how you kept that up, and was there struggles in there with
Yeah.
grades or girls or
Yeah.
like life? I mean,
Yeah,
what
for
happened?
sure.
I mean, you don't live in Hesperia anymore.
No.
You live in the coast
San
of
Diego.
San Diego. So what
Yeah.
happened there? Where did that all transition? Go into a little bit of all that.
Okay, yeah, it was definitely a transition just because there's not as much dirt down here as there is in the desert.
You think?
Yeah.
Freaking, if you guys don't know, Encinitas is like dude, it's no dirt.
Yeah.
It's all sand if you're even close to the beach. Yeah.
Exactly.
You're like, oh, I guess I could jump some sand dunes
Yeah.
or something, but you still can't ride on sand.
Yeah, exactly. So I only knew how to ride dirt jumps, so I kind of learned how to start riding skate parks more. You know, riding bowls.
Oh yeah, doing the bowls. Okay.
Doing the bowls, yeah. I really found some bowls that felt like trails. Like anything I ride, I still pretend it's trails.
Oh, okay.
And
in your head, yeah.
In my head, yeah. But going back to the school, yeah, I don't know how I did it, honestly. I think
That's what I want to hear. I want to freaking hear that, dude.
Yeah.
That's what I want people to know. It ain't easy.
No,
like,
it's
I
not
just
easy.
freaking, all I did was just like literally, I already slept. I freaking, it just happens, right? Because we are humans.
Yeah,
and we can get to some serious shit.
Yeah.
You just don't sit on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, I just figure it out.
Yeah, you just figured it out. Yeah, I mean, luckily, I think the thing that helped me was growing up, I was naturally really good at math and science.
Okay.
So I didn't have to study like nearly as much.
Yeah, it just came to you, and that's fun. Yeah, that's great.
So I would like ride my bike. I'd get out of class and then I'd go straight to. I started building some trails here in Encinitas, and I would get out of class and I'd go straight to my trails with my shovel in the car already.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I had my bike and my shovel in my car at all times.
And how old were you at that time when you started in Miracosta, right?
Miracosta, yeah, I was 20, 21.
Okay, and Miracosta is in Encinitas.
Yeah, it's in Encinitas.
What else was I thinking about to be in the Encinitas area? But yeah, anyway, Miracosta's Encinitas, and then so that was 2 years, and then San Diego State.
Yeah, that was 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years there. Did you live on campus or did you commute?
No, I commuted from Encinitas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest struggle through all of that. The girls definitely took up time, and that
good. So you did have girls.
I did have girls. Yeah. I still, it wasn't like my bike was
right. Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Yeah, like you had a social life.
Yeah, definitely had a social life, and but the main struggle was the injuries. Injuries are part of the sport.
I remember you bringing that up. Yeah, talk a little bit about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a really bad foot injury when I was 22 years old. Broke my foot riding some really big dirt jumps down in San Diego. And that one actually ended up having to drop the semester. And,
school.
Semester off.
Yeah, they didn't have that online learning.
Yeah, they didn't have that.
Yeah,
exactly. But yeah, I had to drop school, and that one I took the semester off. Came back though, next semester, but then a couple years later, I broke my elbow, and that one was crazy because I stayed in school after I broke my elbow because I didn't want to stop.
I'm not doing this shit again.
Yeah, I want to graduate,
and that's hard because it's your elbow and your right hand.
My right hand, yeah. So I literally, and that was when I was in the core engineering classes, more general ed. I was in the.
It's almost like
you do the
graduation, like a doctor going to you're in your hardcore shit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
I was doing all the mechanics classes.
Freaking this line.
Yeah.
Good thing you didn't have a brain, bro.
Yeah.
You got it early. Right?
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
that it was hard work, but that was a good thing you already kind of understood all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I definitely had a lot of really late nights. I got used to staying up till 3 in the morning and being up at 6.
See, that's where I want to take that second.
Yeah.
Because I feel like obviously he's currently with maybe 20 years, who knows, but he's currently with Cole Strahler's sister, who was on there, and he always, his interview really inspired me because he's a young kid, but he talked about running the sock company at going to bed at, he's in high school, going to bed at 12 or 1 to study and get orders from China and all this stuff, for socks, and then get up at 5:30 to go to wrestling. It's that's you just have to do that shit.
Yeah, it's a hustle.
It sucks, but it's the funnest, coolest thing you can do. When I was in the military, it was when you're in it, it's kind of this sucks.
Yeah.
When you look back, you're that shit was fun.
Yeah.
And really, you can get a little bit of a high from being I'm running on pure adrenaline.
Yeah.
I'm figuring it out. That's a cool part of it.
Yeah.
But I want to hit on the injuries a little bit. So were those the really 2 big ones, and you always just had bumps and bruises before that?
Yeah, pretty much. I got knocked out a few times in the desert.
Did you guys probably wear helmets back then?
I didn't really wear a helmet. I wore a helmet, but it wasn't a certified one. It was just a cheap one.
Yeah. Something to be clip it on. Or whatever.
And I didn't really know how to fall. Falling is a big part of it.
Learning how to land or fall correctly, right?
Exactly. Crash, without getting hurt. So those were, the elbow, and my foot were the two big ones. I definitely broke more bones than that, but yeah, those are the big ones.
You broke more bones than that?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, like, that's what cracks me up too, like, like, when you're into it, you just break shit.
Yeah,
And
and
it's
all my
like-
friends do, like,
Yeah, I mean,
it's
it's
like,
like-
oh, you'll be good in a
Yeah,
couple
you're like,
weeks.
oh, I broke a rib, or broke an arm,
Yeah.
broke a foot, whatever, but, you know,
Yeah.
it's kind of like, that's the part of it all, it's like, that sport, motocross,
Yeah.
there's certain things out there, you just break stuff, and you just kind of, if you love it, you just kind of like, okay, 2 weeks off, whatever,
Yeah.
and then even then, you can maybe ride, but you're not gonna
Yeah.
jump.
Yeah,
You're just like, okay,
exactly.
I can keep my legs going,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be out there with my boys, but I'm not gonna jump.
Yeah.
Not with a freaking
Dude,
wrist that's
totally.
going sideways
Yeah.
or whatever, yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, I know we've done some good shots
Yeah.
going through, but we also haven't shot them, so we've sipped them a little bit.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get into the next one.
Mhm.
This one actually I didn't actually open it yet, so
Ooh,
it's completely
this is
brand
fresh,
new. This is
yeah.
Old Forester 1910.
Okay.
This actually has like a little caramel finish, but it's not a flavored whiskey. It's just the
Oh,
way
really?
it's aged.
Yeah.
It's 98 proof, so
Okay.
it's a little bit strong. I
Warming up.
bought a double set today. This was 93. There's 100 and a 93 proof.
Wow.
So I brought the 93 because I wanted to be able to walk out of here.
Yeah, I don't need to, but
Yeah, you're good. Yeah. That's and his girlfriend right before she's like, get him effed up.
yeah.
So I'm like, okay.
I know. She's looking forward to it.
she's like, he doesn't get messed up on whiskey. He doesn't drink that much. So let's make it count tonight.
Yeah.
So we're definitely gonna try this one, bro. Let's go.
Ooh,
for that.
yeah.
It's gonna be good. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I love Old Forester, but I've only had the
Really?
traditional one, but not this one. Yeah, 1910. I mean, 1910. Hello.
Yeah.
Sounds old.
It's a long time ago.
For you, especially. It wasn't that long for me.
What are you talking about?
Oh my god. Is that not totally different than the Buffalo?
Yeah.
I mean, because that's the
That
only one
was-
we've had that was whiskey. The other two are kind of a flavor. That's
Smooth.
Smooth. as
Yeah.
shit. God, they make it good
Oh
sometimes.
my god, yeah.
Mm.
Wow. I need to explore the world of whiskey more. This
And
is
it's very fun. Yeah.
yeah. That was
It's
really
very fun.
good.
That was a really good one.
Yeah.
And the last we have is the old good old fashioned Jack coming up.
Oh yeah.
We actually we're requested to throw that one in, so we'll go ahead and throw that in.
Yeah.
So I want to get into a little bit about the college.
Mhm.
So 5 years,
Yeah.
and you knew right away you were going to go into civil engineering.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what is that because all the dirt is civil? I don't excuse my ignorance. Civil engineering is just dirt. You're
No.
working with dirt.
It's dirt is a discipline, and it's actually called soil.
Oh,
It's a professional
Okay.
term.
Yeah, no worries.
It's not dirt, it's soil. And don't worry, I didn't learn that until I was in college.
yeah. I don't
for
want to
it,
offend
you know?
anybody that
Yeah.
in that profession, but yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, because there's soil is different, right?
Mhm.
Like dirt is probably a thing of soil.
Yes, exactly. It's
Right?
an
Dirt's just a
aggregate.
layer.
Yeah, exactly.
You got sand, and all these are
Yeah,
soils, right?
exactly,
Okay.
yeah. So, and that's a part of civil engineering. Honestly, when back 7 years ago, when I decided I want to go to college,
Okay.
I knew dirt was a part of civil engineering, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for civil engineering.
Yeah, because you've
Because
been
what
working with your
else?
freaking
And-
hands and
yeah,
soil and
like-
dirt this whole time.
Yeah, because they say you go to school for what you love, so I'm like, okay, I love dirt.
It's never a job, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, how do I go to school for dirt? Okay.
And look, you even said dirt.
Yeah,
Because back then,
because
that's what
back
you called
then,
it.
I was like,
Yeah. At least you correct, like you didn't
Yeah.
go soil.
no, I
Now you call
dirt.
it soil. Back
Yeah,
then,
now-
like, it was dirt. Yeah, that's
Exactly.
awesome. Yeah.
Even my first, I always crack up about it. The first job fair that I went to, I think my first year at San Diego State, I was like, I'm gonna get an internship,
Yeah.
at a good engineering company. I went up to this, it's called Kleinfelder, probably one
I've
of the
heard of
biggest,
Kleinfelder, yeah.
yeah, biggest company in San Diego. And I'm like, look, you guys, I have a lot of experience with dirt. I know how to work with it. I've been working with it for the past 17 years. And they're,
Good job, kid.
yeah, they're like, okay, come back in a couple years and we'll give you a
You
job.
would have just called it soil. You would
Yeah.
have been in, right?
Yeah, that was the dead giveaway that I didn't know what I was doing.
You weren't quite ready.
Yeah.
That's classic. That's classic.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about what civil engineering is then, if it's not just soil.
Yeah, so civil engineering, they actually, coordinate a project. Anything, say a roadway or a building or a dam, like anything that has to do with the public,
Okay.
the civil engineer figures out.
So I saw someone on Instagram the other day, like you were like at a job or something, and there was I honestly thought you were, because I didn't know your profession.
Yeah.
I knew you were a college graduate. I didn't know what it was though. So because I thought you were like, oh look, he's digging.
Oh yeah.
But you had like, there was people.
Yeah.
Like there was a giant wall of dirt.
Yeah.
So that was a job you were on.
Yeah.
To try to, like, you're the guy that does there's structural engineering.
The structural, yeah.
And then there's civil.
And that's a part of civil.
Okay.
Structural is a
Thank
part
you.
of civil,
All
yeah.
right.
And I'm in geotechnical, which is also a part of civil.
Okay.
And geotechnical works with the soil.
Soil.
Yeah.
So you go and test it and.
Yeah.
So would you be the guy, like, you're young now, but back when Qualcomm was gonna, like, say, they were gonna try and build a new site, and then they did soil testing.
Yeah.
And all that, is that like civil engineering?
Yeah.
Kind of goes in and tests the soil?
Yeah, that's exactly what I do.
Thank you.
Is I go and drill down, 10, 50 feet, take samples of the soil.
Take samples and see if it's structurally sound to blow up or start over or hold a new structure?
Yeah, I do laboratory testing on it,
Nice.
and
And this is at a company now, you're out of school. Okay.
Yeah, I'm at an engineering firm. So yeah, and that project was pretty crazy that you were talking about with that vertical wall. Someone's house somehow got built on top of this cliff, and over time the rain has eroded the cliff more and more.
Sure.
And this person has like a 3-story mansion.
Right. Sitting on it,
sitting on it, and yeah, like holy shit.
It's not very biblical, right?
Yeah. Like, how is this
like
here?
build a house on sand and build a house on a rock, right? They're like, I don't know how we built this house on sand.
Yeah, so they call us and they're like, figure this out, my house is gonna fall down this hill. Yeah.
So they hire you guys to say, my house is like on the edge now.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you guys go and do? Like, how do you do that?
So we drilled down over there to find the bedrock, which is, the soil that was deposited millions of years ago that's had so much time that it turns into rock, and that rock is super strong, and so we looked for that, and then we pretty much figured out a solution that we're going to build a wall against the cliff and shoot some anchors into that bedrock, and it kind of holds that cliff where it's at. So,
dude, you make me want to do this shit, man. That sounds fun. No,
dude, it's fun.
It sounds freaking amazing.
Yeah, I love it.
But there's a lot of formulas and calculation and stuff. It's not just digging, but I mean, like, that's where I would totally be. I'm pretty good at math, but not civil engineering math. So the best part about this whole story with this house is that this guy, obviously, or this family or whatever, is rich enough to hire a company to sink his house. I mean, where was the house?
In Del Mar.
Yeah. So a 3-story house was it like near the water?
You can see the water.
Oh, okay. Was it like
not on the water?
It was on the rocks. Yeah. So if there's a lot of cliffs and kind of drop offs. So I mean, I'm sure it was a pretty decent paycheck, but then he's like,
oh yeah,
hey man, that's what I got to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's probably like a $12 million home or something. He's like, that's nothing.
That's nothing paying this dude out here.
Paying us the Danimal out here. That's classic. I'm just saying, we're giving people a sense of what like that shit entails. It's probably pretty big retainer for the company, but to him he's like no big deal.
Yeah.
To us we're like, what? Dude, just blow that freaking house up and start over.
Yeah, that's not
get the insurance.
Yeah, just kick it a little, the whole thing, okay, and you'll get a brand new house.
But that's very, very fun. That's awesome. I love that whole, like, you were like anchors, and you guys are still doing, like, it's a job.
Yeah.
So once he said, once he hires you, you come up with a solution, you do the job, and then boom. Yeah, it's like a construction job with dirt and, soil.
Yeah.
And anchors and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You subcontractors, your company pretty much in-house?
We're
for the most part.
Yeah, so I wouldn't call us a subcontractor.
No, do you sub out anything?
Oh,
or do you pretty much, once you do it, you're turnkey?
Well, we sub out drillers.
Okay.
We don't do the drilling ourselves.
But you'll put the anchors in after the drilling is done.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. Well, we saw the contractor subs out the drillers and they sub out us.
So there's your GC.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're not the ones they hire. The GC hires you.
Yeah.
Okay, and I hate to get in all that.
And
understand all the terms.
Yeah.
So the general contractor gets hired by the house owner.
Yeah.
And then you guys are the one that does the civil engineering part, and then the driller. Okay. Exactly. I thought you were the one they call you directly. I mean, and you run the job.
Yeah, I mean, we do that sometimes. Depending on the project.
Okay.
Everyone is different.
Got it. If it's strictly soil based and like that's all they know, they just call you directly.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, are you? You know what? Let's do it last time.
Let's do it.
The reason why is because I want to get the one last thing before we do it.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
It's all good.
Yeah. Hopefully the mic picked that up nicely. It's a much bigger bottle. They sent us down like the 1.75 liter from Costco. It's like, good. It's like, good Lord, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a final shot of Danimal's whiskey.
Yeah.
He doesn't like to be called Dan. I just said that. We're gonna do a final of his favorite. So.
Not that old.
Well, yeah. No, it's funny. Jack Daniels. There's no reason. You don't have to say anything about Jack.
No.
It's just what it is.
It's Jack Danimal's.
But you know what? For Jack, still, I mean, it's kind of in between, right? You can tell it's Jack,
Yeah.
but it's like between
It
these
has a
two,
little
right?
more of that harshness.
Yeah, it's that, but it's an everyday.
Yeah.
I don't sip it.
No.
Like you would find me with ginger beer, Coke. You know, that's kind of
mixed
what Jack
all in
is.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
And it's
though.
not a knock on Jack. That's what more Jack and Coke. I mean, the hello.
Oh,
They
yeah.
don't sit there and go Jack on Ice.
Yeah.
They don't promote their commercials Jack on Ice. It's Jack and Coke.
They
Right?
know you need something in there.
Yeah, I mean,
Sip on it.
exactly. They make billions of dollars on Jack and Coke.
Yeah.
So even if you go to the bar and you're like Jack and Coke, you're like we don't have Jack. Okay, well I still say Jack and Coke. You know what the hell I want, right?
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
calling a tissue a Kleenex.
Yeah,
Kleenex.
exactly.
No, you can get a tissue off brand, but you still call it a Kleenex.
You still call
They
it
got the
Kleenex.
market,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, Kleenex.
Jack doesn't care how you say their name. Just,
No.
just know that it's Jack.
Yeah.
So the last thing I want to talk about was the what did we say about the whole what do you see to wrap up?
Yeah.
So do you see your like is this where you want to be? Is this management or do you want to do
Yeah.
your own? I mean, what do you want to do? You know, like
Yeah.
you're 27.
Yeah.
Obviously you're done racing per se, other than for a sport or
Yeah.
hobby.
Uh-huh.
I think you said your aspirations and that's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
But like, what is it for the next 10 years? I'm not talking about family and kids,
Yeah.
marriage and all that. I'm talking about like, do you want to be an employee of this firm for the next 10 years? Do you want to go on your own? Do you want to get the hell out of that? What do you want to do?
So
Not to put you on the spot.
no, yeah.
Not at all.
I mean, it's things we have to think about, you
Right, yeah.
know. I'd like to be an employee for a little while longer.
Okay. An employee's not bad. I mean,
yeah.
especially if it's a great company.
Yeah, it's a great
Everyone might
company.
for 20 years and they take care of
Okay.
amazing care of you.
Yeah. So, and I still have some licensure to get, you know, and I need the experience to get those licenses.
Right, because you've only been there, what, a year or something?
About almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're still young.
Yeah,
I mean, in
still
that
young there.
stage, yeah.
So I'd like to. My kind of vision has always been to work at a firm, have my job dialed, like kind of like I have right now. Honestly, like I love what I do.
Sure.
It comes, you know, natural to me, and I want to be able to do something else at the same time. I've always been into business. Because my dad, you know, he ended up owning his own car wash, and I got to work there with him as well, see the whole business side of things. So
Oh, okay.
I'd like to get into business as well, whether it be engineering later or something like a car wash like my dad,
Yeah.
or I've always thought it'd be cool to build jumps, you know,
I
for
was saying,
more
why can't
business.
you create
like,
your own
yeah,
small park? I mean,
Yeah,
who wants to
so-
go to Bakersfield?
yeah,
I mean, if you need to do that sooner though. I'm
yeah,
not saying like, but your name Danimal
Mhm.
and the jumps. I mean, it would always carry some clout.
yeah.
But you can't wait 15 years
Yeah,
for those kids to
exactly.
wash out, right?
Exactly.
You gotta
Oh my
kind
God.
of, you gotta kind of keep that.
Yeah,
So I mean, I'm not putting any pressure on you. I'm just
No.
saying, like, if that was your legacy for
Yeah.
7 years, and people came to that place,
Yeah.
we don't have anything like that in San Diego.
yeah, we don't.
I'm not even a BMXer, and I can tell you we don't.
Yeah,
We got some great bowls, and I mean, the
Mhm.
Encinitas skate park is insane.
Yeah.
Man, like you must
yeah.
love that place.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But it's like, because we don't have dirt,
Mhm.
we have dirt.
Yeah,
We have dirt somewhere
somewhere
within this area.
Yeah,
So even if you were to build something small,
Mhm.
you know, and start out like that's definitely nothing out of your realm. I mean, for
no,
sure.
yeah, and I've always thought it'd be cool to tie in my geotechnical
That's what I'm saying.
background
Like
now.
you're perfect right now.
Yeah,
Like
it's,
you've got that whole
Yeah, I can build better
Now you're
jumps
like
than any.
certified, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you're like
Exactly.
I'm certified Danimal. You know,
Yeah,
that's
Dr.
freaking tight.
Danimal.
Yeah. Dr. Danimal's engineering
Yeah.
skate park. Right? No, seriously, your shit
Yeah.
would be amazing.
Yeah,
That would be just even carry more, and then you know you got the connections.
Yeah, I have the
Right?
connections,
So,
I have
yeah.
the know-how, and it'd be the first of its kind, you know?
Yeah, that would be
to
tight.
engineer a dirt park,
Right.
So yeah, I mean, I'd like to do that.
Even if it's
but,
just like something small.
yeah, even if it's something
Like,
small.
you know, Paolo down there has a little skate park. But, you know, for you, it sounds like more to be a passion.
Yeah, it would
Yes,
be a
it could be
passion.
something.
Yeah,
It could turn into something.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you're making a full-time paycheck
yeah,
and a good engineer.
yeah. So that's where I've always been kind of on the fence. Is when I started digging like a lot for woodwood, I loved it, you know, but it started to become a little more of a job.
Oh.
And
Good call.
I like
Good
doing
start
it,
for
yeah, for myself, you know. And then I kind of realized, like, I have a friend in Escondido who has his own house and big yard, and he like has a good job, and he built some badass jumps in his yard,
Okay.
and just, you know, goes to work, rides when he gets home.
Who the hell is that? Or where's he at?
He's in he's
What part of
near
Escondido?
off of Grand, nearly by like the Home Depot off Grand.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of the southern end, off the freeway, about
Oh, okay.
15 minutes. Yeah.
So is he, you mean the West Valley Parkway? Because there's only two Home Depots. I live
Okay.
by, you know, Valley Center.
Yeah.
Is the East Valley Parkway Home Depot. Or the West Valley.
It's off of Auto.
Oh, okay, so it's the West Valley.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because there's land back there.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
I'm announcing it right now. You can use my. Have you been?
Yeah.
You've seen my house.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You got that.
Dude, that'd be amazing.
You can use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of one's like just a small like entrance fee or
Yeah,
something. Like I don't
yeah.
even want a lot of money. I'm just saying we
Yeah.
have nothing to do with the yard.
Yeah.
I would sit back there and just watch kids jump all day.
Yeah.
Like
Dude, that'd be
have you
awesome.
seen that? That
Yeah, a
flat
little bit.
back
It was
pool
dark.
right there?
Yeah, I haven't.
Oh, you haven't seen it during the day?
No.
You got to check it out.
Yeah.
Like Alex has convinced me to do wines and shit. I'm like, I get all that. That's
Yeah.
fine. Like, but that takes money.
Yeah.
I'd rather just be like, dude, just have it,
Just do it,
enjoy
yeah.
it. There's
Yeah.
a side entrance.
Dude.
You don't have to
that'd
come
be
to my
awesome.
house. It's got its
Yeah.
own like thing. You can bring your bikes and your trucks and
Yeah.
seriously.
Dude, that'd
Like
be
I mean, I've talked to my wife, but that's not even like this talking. I mean,
Yeah.
we're like, what the frick? If you built amazing jumps,
Yeah.
I would just sit back there with a glass of
You
wine
can
and
watch,
watch
yeah.
kids crush.
Yeah.
Like I love that
That'd be
stuff.
fun,
That would
yeah.
be a great thing to do, man.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that off camera for sure.
Yeah.
So of all the whiskeys tonight, the Salty Caramel, the Buffalo Trace, the Jack Daniels, the Forester 1910, or the Sour. I'm sorry, slow and low. It's not
Yeah.
I was thinking
So we think of this
sour.
whiskey sour,
Whiskey
yeah.
sour. Which one do you want to try for the last shot? Or do again?
The slow and low.
You like
Sure,
that, right?
yeah.
That's sweet, right?
Hands
Yeah.
down.
So
Sounds
we're gonna do that more like we're not even gonna try it. We're just gonna do like a nice drink the shit out of it.
Yeah,
kind
let's
of
do it.
pour, Yeah. We're
Let's
just
do
gonna
it.
we're just gonna walk that shit up back to the house. You know what I'm saying? So in case you guys weren't sure where we were, this is my 4th episode down in the Stryler Wine Cellar.
Yeah.
And you know, Danny here dates Lexi Stryler, so we figured why not a perfect place?
Yeah,
We're
it's
here
an
a
awesome
lot.
spot.
You're here a lot.
Yeah.
Why do it, you know, anywhere else? Plus, it's freezing freaking cold outside.
I know.
So it's definitely not a good outside venue right now.
Yeah.
So do you have any last things to say? I mean, obviously people can Google you. And
Yeah.
how do you spell your last name, just so you know?
It's Eisele.
Okay, I said so you know.
Yeah.
Of course you
so
know.
I know.
And you have your Instagram is Danimal.
It's Danimal, yeah.
What is
Two underscores, Danimal, 2 underscores.
Now, is that because other people have that name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Danimal, it's not like a popular name, but you would think a lot of people take it.
I know.
Like Danny, yeah.
Yeah.
So you got 2 underscores, Danimal,
Yeah.
which is pretty simple.
Yeah.
It's basically Dan and then Mole.
Yeah.
Or Immel.
Immel.
And then 2 underscores.
underscores,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I follow him, obviously. But yeah, check him out. Is there any like YouTube channels or anything like that? you're a part of?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube. I haven't
Just some of your
posted on
jumps and
YouTube
shit?
for a while. Yeah, my
some of your
jumps.
old school
Yeah, my
jumps?
old school jumps are on my YouTube. It's called Danimal Digs.
Okay.
That's my YouTube.
Nice,
You'll see,
yeah.
you know, footage from Woodward, footage
Nice.
from my old trails.
I'm gonna check it out. I didn't even know.
Yeah.
Like I wanna see you just jump like that.
Yeah.
Freaking, like you don't even understand. Like when I do these videos, a lot of times people bring back memories of my childhood.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like whether it's Matt or Bob or you or like. And, obviously I had a breast cancer survivor. That doesn't bring back my childhood.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like some of these people just inspire me to be like to keep doing this.
Yeah.
Because I love the part about getting to hear people's story.
Yeah, dude,
Because
it's
when do you sit back and just sit there for 45 minutes to an hour and just tell someone
Yeah.
their story?
Yeah.
And then get to broadcast it to whoever wants to watch it.
Yeah.
And this is a vault. This is, for generations of, your kids and grandkids, and like, you can tell their story.
Yeah.
But they can like see you in your prime.
Yeah, exactly.
You're on freaking high definition TV now.
Yeah,
And when they see you when you're like 7, when they see you when you're like 7, you'd be like 50.
Yeah.
You'd be like, Grandpa Danimal was on TV once, or he
Grandpa
jumped.
Dan.
That's what I'm like, yeah. Dan at that point. I don't hear on Danimal that shit.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you guys so much. Thank you to Danimal. Danny. No Dan. Yeah, that's in like 10 years. But thank you guys so much, man. I appreciated your time tonight. I know he has a bigger story. You can definitely check it out.
Yeah.
Look at all his old history. I mean, the guy's got an amazing story. I'm just proud of the guy for just going from a freaking BMX jumper to a civil engineer.
Thanks.
Like, how else do
Yeah.
it's amazing.
That doesn't happen.
So, good night, everybody. We'll see you guys next week.